Hello, hey everybody, aloha. I'm Natalie, and this is Life After a Cult, the channel where we expose cult nonsense, laugh at the absurdity, and hopefully unbrainwash ourselves in the process. In today's Scientology incredibly culty recap here, we're going to talk about a forced retraction in a kidnapping scandal. We're going to talk about Scientology's attack on a UK whistleblower, because, that's how they roll. Protest news, some tips for spotting brainwashing. Do you know that you could be being manipulated and you might not even know it? And it's very culty. And the Zizian cult leader, alleged, I guess we should say, has been arrested, which I got to say, that guy was running around. I was like, ooh, make sure my doors are locked. Even though nobody's coming out here to Minnesota in the cold, I feel like they kind of stuck to the. Actually, where did he get arrested? Well, we're going to look. We're going to find out. But before we do that, we're going to get into something that we need to talk about here. We need to talk about this as a group. Did you guys know that there are 2 zodiac signs most likely to start a cult? Yeah. And good morning, everybody. Thank you, moderators, for being here. So good to see you. Aloha. Welcome, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for the alohas. Members, I see you there as well. If you're on the replay, drop your alohas, drop your comments, drop your questions. We want to hear from you. So first off, we're going to get into this. And if you can guess, what do you think I don't know if anybody would guess, the 2 zodiac signs most likely to start a cult? I thought this was hilarious, and I had to do some personal reflection. All right, throw it in the comments if you can guess. Otherwise, I'm going to just start talking about this here. Let's see. Pull it up. So, the 2 zodiac signs most likely to start a cult. That is an image from, what was that show? The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Did you guys see that? Oh my gosh, I love this show. I think I've watched it like 2 times, and there's multiple seasons. So Cheryl's guessing Gemini and Leo. We shall see. I love this show. It's on Netflix, I believe. If you haven't seen it, Unbreakable, they're alive, damn it. It's a miracle. That's the theme song, so it might bring it back in case the visual didn't do it quite. Scorpios and Virgos, Julia. Oh, Gemini and Scorpio, Leo and Aries. Deb thinks, okay. You guys know a lot more about, what do you call it? Zodiac signs and stuff than I do. So let's take a look at this here. Hold on. I got to move something around here. This is throwing me off. There we go. Okay. So let's scroll down through the blah, 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 the blah, blah, blah. The part of the chart where one might see a skill for getting others to, quote, join is the 9th house. This is the part of one's birth chart that contains the topics of travel, higher education, and also religion. It's a place that I call the house of professors and priests, because those with placements here, especially the sun or the moon. Now, let me just say too, this is for entertainment purposes. I'm not saying that this is totally a thing. I just found it interesting, and you will find out why in just a moment. Those with prominent placements in the 9th house usually have an immigration story, or were raised religious, or have a grandmother who defied the odds of her generation and got a master's degree. It's here where we also see what kind of travel buddy or teacher or cult leader each person might be. So this is this person's opinion. I think there are 2 signs that are most likely to start a cult: Virgo and Aquarius. So I'm going to need the Virgos and Aquariuses to identify themselves, and I'll start. Virgo, right here. You guys know it. So throw it in the chat if you're on the replay, if you are a Virgo or Aquarius and you're willing to self-identify, because we got to watch out for these potential cult leaders, which I guess is me too. So listen to this. Listen to this. Let's see. That's because these are the 2 signs that might find it both intriguing and comfortable. And here's why. So for Virgo, mutable earth sign Virgo is known for bringing order to chaos. Ruled by Mercury, the planet of technical skills and communication, Virgos can also be quite intellectual and chatty. I definitely got the chatty part down. Already we have 2 qualities of a great cult leader: herding cats and public speaking. But the real reason that Virgos are great cult leaders is that unlike their fellow earth signs, Taurus and Capricorn, who might take expanding their mind too seriously, Virgos have a real sensual approach to exploration and gaining knowledge. Sensual approach. Did you guys know? I hope you're here for the sensual approach of mine. Let's see. Where did I leave off here? Virgo's ninth house is Taurus, a sign ruled by beauty planet Venus. Virgos want travel and learning to be as delicious as an indulgent home-cooked meal. Virgos will start a cult, and that's in quotes, that's really just a farming collective, plant some flowers, raise some cows, and never look back. So the other one, do we have any Aquariuses here? Aquarius. Let's see. This one basically says that Aquarius leads a stylish cult ruled by Saturn, planet of discipline and structure. Aquarius is a sign that others naturally look up to as an authority figure. All of the air signs are social and very into spreading knowledge and ideas, but unlike their fellow air signs, Gemini and Libra, Aquarius loves the info, but also has a lot of style in their approach to travel, education, and cultivation. This is because Aquarius's ninth house is Libra. I don't understand the whole house thing, but here we go. Another Venus ruled sign. Aquarius is very strategic when it comes to starting their cult. The PR is always on point. Who can request a great logo in a cute font or a targeted merch drop? Joining the cult of Aquarius is like joining a scene that never goes out of style. I thought that was particularly interesting and funny because, I'm a Virgo. Aquarius are very out there, Deb. Yeah, I don't know a ton about it. But I find it interesting. Hey, Feral Cheryl, I see you there. Did I see Chow Yun Smut go flying by too? And I think I saw Dusty, a whole bunch of you. Welcome, everybody. Oh, Irina, does anyone know a real cult leader who was a Virgo? Aleister Crowley was Libra. Interesting. I think it was very tongue-in-cheek because, as it said, a Virgo would start a cult that really would actually be a farming collective. So I kind of get that. It's kind of like alohatology, or as Bob says, Natalieology. I like alohatology. I think that is my favorite so far. Okay, did I accidentally delete? Yes, I did. Let's pull this back up. Let's talk about, we got to go somewhere, y'all. We got to go to the underground bunker. Need better bunker music. That's all I got for now. Let us go to the underground bunker. Going downstairs. Boop, 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 boop. And we're here. Let's talk about this story over at the underground bunker by Tony Ortega. It's Scientology insider at the center of White House Ukraine-Russia negotiation. You're like, what? What's happening? How could this be? What are you talking about? Well, let's see. Let's see what he's talking about. Yesterday, we told you about President Donald Trump naming Scientology's wealthiest donor, Trish Duggan, to the board of trustees at the Kennedy Center in D.C. But there's an even more sensitive White House effort going on right now in Munich, and that's the very dicey negotiations regarding Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine and whether the ensuing war can be ended on terms agreeable to both sides. Trump's new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, caused a stir when he said that it would be unrealistic to think that Ukraine could return to pre-2014 borders or that it could expect NATO membership. But then on Thursday, Reuters reported that another senior U.S. official had contradicted that position, saying that the U.S. had not ruled out either possibility, NATO membership or pre-2014 borders, and that everything was still on the table. And who was that senior U.S. official? Dum, dum, dum. None other than operating Thetan Scientologist and semi-retired attorney John P. Cole, who has been named the White House's deputy Ukraine envoy. Cole, who is married to television journalist Greta Van Susteren, who is also an operating Thetan Scientologist. is someone we've kept an eye on for years here at the Underground Bunker, but we were unaware that he had recently made the jump to Trump's guy on Ukraine. How did that happen? In 2021, after his first term as president ended, Trump hired Cole to file federal lawsuits against Twitter, Facebook, and Google, alleging that the technology giants had infringed on Trump's free speech rights by taking down his accounts after the January 6, 2021 insurrection. Last month, after Trump returned to the White House, Meta settled its lawsuit over Trump's Facebook ban for $25 million. The settlement occurred after Trump met personally with Meta's Mark Zuckerberg. Let's see here. It's been working to get people to the table for 2 years now. Of course, the election helped, Cole told Political after securing the settlement for the president. The Twitter lawsuit is on appeal and the Google lawsuit is on hold in the meantime. So, after helping Trump with that problem, Cole, the Scientologist, the very high up the bridge to total freedom Scientologist, he so after his very long history with Scientology, oh wait, no, I got to back it up. I lost my track. So after helping Trump with that problem, Cole has now been sent to Munich to see what he can do about the mess in Ukraine. Cole has a very interesting history with Scientology. In 1986, he proposed that Scientology form a political action committee, the Freedom, Liberty, and Good Government Political Action Committee, or FLAG-PAC. Scientologists just love their acronyms and stuff there. I think it's about creating a whole nother language like Scientology and other cults do. So FLAG-PAC. Non-Scientologists would see a patriotic name, but Scientologists would hear an echo of the organization's headquarters in Clearwater, Florida, known as FLAG. Cole's attempt at a sneaky Scientology pack failed, but he's remained loyal to the church despite Greta playing footsie with Christian preacher Franklin Graham in recent years. In 2015, we had fun writing about the fact that both Cole and Greta had completed the auditing level of Operating Thetan Level 4 in Scientology, which has a subject put the invisible alien entities sticking to them through drug rehab. Cole has continued, so here they are together, Greta and her husband. Cole has continued to rise on the bridge to total freedom, completing Operating Thetan Level 6 in 2017, an auditing level that also involves Scientologists chasing away unseen alien souls known as body Thetans. So there is a little bit more to this, but you know me, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to link it down below. Morning, Liz Gale. I thought I saw you pop in there. So interesting. I definitely think that is interesting. You guys tell me what you think. If you're in the replay, jump on those comments. Should we be, I don't know if concerned is the word, but there does seem to be a fair amount of prominent Scientologists popping up in some pretty big places of influence currently. And I think it's very concerning. Maybe I would, the last 3 years I've told you guys, like I was halfway living under a rock. I was like working, head down, going through Tony's cancer treatment and all of that. I was not paying a lot attention to a ton, but I don't remember another time where there were so many Scientologists in some pretty prominent positions. So I don't know. Marcy, did I read something about JFK's ties to Scientology? John F. Kennedy Jr.? No, but you might be confusing it with, what's his name? RFK has some ties to Scientology. And that, again, is one of the areas where we're like, ooh, because remember, Scientology plays the long game, okay? Scientology and Scientologists who are involved in this, they've been working on this for years. They are good at playing the long game. And I think this is what they've been doing. And it is, right, Julia? It is very suspicious. I know it's got me concerned. Hey, Susie Oberholtz, good to see you. I think it's very concerning. I do too. I do too. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. S. Gotcher, rich people, no matter their beliefs, tend to gravitate to each other. I suppose, and that does make sense. Yeah, Tim, Marcy, I think you were thinking about this. Tim Greenglass is pointing out it's RFK Jr. and he's deep mixed up with them, especially over the anti-psych meds. And that is the thing, is Scientology will find allies or people that align with their beliefs and then exploit that. Try to do then positioning, try to, oh, well, you agree with us on that we should eradicate psychiatric medicine. You'll probably agree with us on this thing over here too. And then down the rabbit hole you go and things get massively culty. So gonna keep an eye on that. Stace, confused Brit here. RFK Jr. is the brain worm guy. I don't know. I don't know about the brain worm guy. I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe someone in the chat knows. You can jump in. Xiaoyan Smut, Natalie, I just watched a recent video and am relieved to find that I am not a cult leader on my channel or anywhere else. What a relief. Thank you. I'm so glad you watched it. I don't even know if I have a clip from that today. I'm the worst at recapping and sharing my own videos that I do. I do it, I put it out there and then kind of forget about it. But it was I did I grab clips from last night's video? I don't know. Anyways, we will talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, though, let's talk about this story that came out. This was some time ago. This story came out in May of 2017, and it was updated last year, but I never saw it. And I don't know if any of you saw this. Here, let me pull it up so you know what the heck I'm talking about here. Hold on. So this was a story. This was a title: Scientologists facilities closed after police find people held prisoner inside. And some of you may remember this story. It was basically somebody who had a Narcanon, Scientology's front group, that pretend that they know how to help people get off and stay off of drugs. They're drug rehab. And law enforcement showed up, and there were people who were being held there against their will. And it was a whole thing. Scientology centers in Tennessee have been closed after police rescued 2 patients being held and medicated against their will. Here's the deal. So it was the Life Center for a New Tomorrow. Before I show you the update, it was, there were 2 tiny cabins, double wide trailer. A guy named Mark Valeris, I think it's Valeris, a well-known member of the cult of Scientology. And it was raided by Tennessee police after they received a 911 call from a person trapped inside. They went up the hill through the gate, makeshift padlock that's secured with a steel latch. They got past that. There they saw the person who had called them looking out through a plexiglass window. He's locked inside the cabin with no way to remove himself from the building, the report went on. The site's caretaker, Dennis Flamond, allowed the officers inside, where they found a mostly empty room with a small pile of sheets in the corner. The caller told officers that he had been held there against his will for 9 months and was being given unknown medications supposedly meant to, quote, cleanse him. Does that sound familiar? Because we know in Scientology, they got that purification rundown, which is supposed to cleanse you of drugs and toxins. Valeri's Life Center for a New Tomorrow, how's that for a name, is not a medical or treatment facility. According to its website, the main focus is to provide an environment that's peaceful and safe, where people can rest, to stimulate, gradually come down, regain their senses with some help, perhaps recover social skills necessary to function successfully in life. And the center's practice of avoiding psychiatric drugs is in line with the cult of Scientology's firm stance against prescribing drugs for mental illness. Here's the thing, you guys. Years later, this was 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 7 years later. When I tell you Scientology plays the long game, like, I'm dead serious about it. 7 years later, Scientology managed to get a retraction, not of the whole story, but listen to this update. A previous version. Oh, you know what? I feel like, hold on a second. We need some news info for this update. I love this. Okay, update. A previous version of this article stated the facilities were owned and operated by the Church of Scientology / cult. This information was reportedly gleaned from an erroneous statement from the county's sheriff department. The confusion stems from the fact that Mark Valeries, who has been charged with 2 felonies of facilitation to kidnapping in connection with the case, is a well-known Scientologist. The article has been updated to reflect the new information. 7 years. All over just that piece there that, oh, this is Scientology. And as much as they want to come and be like, you know what? No, that's not Scientology. Yeah, it's Scientology. What they're describing too is, I'm having a massive brain fart. What is it called in Scientology? Oh, it's a type 3 handling. So with a potential trouble source, there's 3 types in Scientology: type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 3 is when you basically have a psychotic episode. And this happened with Lisa McPherson. And when she was taken to the Fort Harrison Hotel and kept there, held for 2 weeks, and died under their quote care, this is the handling. They were doing what L. Ron Hubbard said to do. And that's what this place was doing with people who had mental breakdowns in Scientology, trying to do this handling by L. Ron Hubbard on them. And I'm so glad that it got shut down. But something, again, like, keep an eye out for, because it's not just Scientology opening these facilities and whatnot. It can be Scientologists who work with Scientology under the guidance of Scientology and under the policies of Scientology and the dictates of L. Ron Hubbard to do this. So keep an eye. Don Gloves, fun fact, the recommended daily dose of niacin is 15 milligrams. And I forget how much you take when you're on the purification rundown, Scientology sauna program, but it is a crazy, unhealthy amount that can cause health issues for sure. Let's see here. Catching up on you guys here. It's just so disturbing. Something else a little disturbing, but needs to be known. Do you guys remember, was it a week ago? Maybe it's 2 weeks, I'm not sure. Mona Fat Grammy had another questionnaire. And some people answered that, and we're going to take a look at the results. Powerless to Paralyzed put it together. And it was basically about like, oh, hold on, 5,000 milligrams of niacin. And this is at a time, people, right, Bob? When you're on the purification rundown, and they up it throughout your purification rundown, your niacin continues to be increased. Wow. Thank you, Onyx. Yeah, I dug it out of my closet. It's like one of those poncho things. And I'm like, this is my jam, because, airflow underneath, yet I'm still kind of warm and cozy, with menopause and the cold sweats that I get. It's just like, why am I not wearing this more often? So thank you. I'm glad you like it. Okay, so we are going to look at these results here. Oh, yep, Nancy, 100 milligrams increasing to 5,000 over the course of the program. While meanwhile, people are supposed to be having 15 milligrams only. That is so dangerous. Yep, Tennessee Treasure Finder, you're right. So OSA, Office of Special Affairs, or someone reached out to the newspaper after you originally talked about the article. No, they did. Oh, I didn't even think about that. You're right. We did talk about it in February of 24. Oh, hell. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, you know what? We should wake up OSA then, because at least they're listening. Wait, where'd we put Davy? Here we go. We got David Miscavige dolls out. David Miscavige, wake up your staff. Office of Special Affairs. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it like that. You're right. I didn't even put the dates together. You're right. We covered this story in February of last year, even though it happened a while ago, as an example of what happens and how Scientology is used to take care, and that's in air quotes, of people who are having mental health issues. Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. You're right. Office of Special Affairs. Mm, we see you. Good try there. Good try there. Good try. Good try. Okay, so now let's get into this because Office of Special Affairs, you might be a little triggered by this because you know it's true. Girl, you know it's true. Now that's going to be stuck in my head. And Milli Vanilli, of all people, where's that come from? Anyways, you know it's true. You know it's true. Let's look at this. This is what the data shows, the age of entry. But what was it into? Was this into Scientology? Oh, yes. 80% of respondents entered Scientology as children. Auditing participation, 100% participated in 100 plus hours of auditing. 70% participated in 1,000 hours of auditing. So now let's talk about the cognitive and neurological issues. And this Office of Special Affairs, pay attention, because if you got this going on, you need to see a doctor and you need to get out of there. 90% noticed significant issues with memory, concentration, or cognitive abilities during or after Scientology. During or after Scientology. 90%. 90%. Is there anything else where 90% of the people do something and they experience cognitive issues, neurological issues, memory issues, cognitive ability issues? 90%. 60% experience neurological symptoms, tingling, numbness, dizziness, seizures that began or worsened during or after Scientology. And yeah, that's one I answered yes to because I've had a history of neurological issues very similar to that. I've worked with multiple neurologists about it. Yeah. So this is very much a thing. Medical conditions. 85% developed unexplained or strange illnesses requiring medical attention during or after their time in Scientology. 55% were diagnosed with cancer during or after their involvement. Now, I'm curious if there's anyone in the medical community, how does that compare to the population? How many? Kellycopter, aloha. How does that compare to the rest of the population outside of Scientology? Was it 50 or 55? 55% of humans of the American population, are they diagnosed with cancer? I honestly don't know. I probably should have Googled it. Maybe somebody can let us know. That seems really high to me, but we know why that is. It's because there's no screening. And so many people in Scientology smoke cigarettes because L. Ron Hubbard did, because smoking doesn't give you cancer per L. Ron Hubbard. Not smoking enough is what does, because, you know, he is a scientist and a medical person. No, he is not. Okay, so Paralyzed to Paralyzed says 40% cancer rate is average. Ooh, that is still really high. But yeah, 55% in Scientology. 55%. Your chances of getting cancer in Scientology, it's like 55%. You're more likely than not likely. That is such an eye-opening, scary statistic because there's no preventative care. There's no screening. Simple things like being able to get a mammogram, they're not done. Never in my time in the Sea Org. Now, I was not of age to get a mammogram, but women who I know who were not getting mammograms. Men were not getting PSA screenings for prostate cancer, which is just a blood test, or other blood work that might catch a health issue early on so something can be done about it. None of that. None of that, none of that, none of that. So it's not surprising 55% were diagnosed with cancer during or after their involvement. Now let's talk about the psychological impact. 70% experience periods of psychosis, hallucinations, delusions, or severe mental disconnection during or after their involvement in Scientology. Now, yesterday, I sat down with John Atack, and we're going to look at a couple clips from that interview. That conversation also gets into this. So if you haven't seen that interview already, check it out because very much so, we talked about this. 95% felt pressure to continue Scientology practices such as auditing, despite feeling physically or emotionally unwell. Of course, because in Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard said, what turns it on will turn it off. So just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just keep poking that bear. If your person that you're auditing is getting all upset and starting to have a psychotic break, just keep going. What turns it on will turn it off. That's Scientology. Let's talk about Sea Org and disciplinary programs. 79% were part of the Sea Org or subjected to disciplinary programs within Scientology. The overall physical and mental health impact, 95% believe their physical or mental health was negatively impacted by their involvement in Scientology. If you are someone still in Scientology who's under the radar, you're not able to leave for whatever reason, or maybe you're someone who has doubts and is in Scientology. And I'm going to expand this to other cults because the behavior is similar. The mental health, the physical health consequences of being in Scientology is absolutely dangerous. This is not, we talk about a lot of things and the damages and the abuses in Scientology, but breaking it down like this, I think is such an eye opener. I know it is for me. The data suggests that most respondents entered Scientology as children, meaning they had little to no choice in their participation. They had high levels of auditing, some with 1,000+ hours, that correlate with memory, cognitive, and neurological issues. A strikingly high percentage, 85%, reported developing unexplained illnesses, and 55% were diagnosed with cancer, suggesting possible long-term health consequences. Psychological distress is evident, with 70% experiencing psychosis and 95% feeling coerced into continuing Scientology practices despite health concerns. The Sea Org involvement, 79%, suggests that a significant portion of respondents underwent intense regimens, which may have contributed to the reported negative health effects. So this is literally dangerous to your health. Cricket Cinema, fantastic question. Do Sea Org have health insurance? No. When you join the Sea Org, you're told, oh, we'll cover your medical. I was told they had a dentist. And at one point they did at the international base, but not for everybody else. And I think that went away pretty quick. Lisa Pete, yeah, 70% psychosis? What else does that? Truly. And I'll tell you, as in working with people who have left Scientology through the SPTV Foundation and the work I do there, and hearing their stories and finding out what they need and how we can help them, I see this over and over and over again. It is incredibly, incredibly disturbing, which is why we're going to keep talking about this. Absolutely. Now, let's talk about, speaking of John Atack, let's take a look. There are a couple clips. I made some shorts yesterday. I was up late last night. I hung out with my son earlier and his fiance, but I still had a ton of work to do. So, but then I slept in a little bit today. John Atack and I didn't realize how funny he was, but I did a couple shorts you got to go check out. Maybe I'll pull up one of them. You know what? I might, because I want to get your opinion on something. But first, let's look at this clip here where John Atack's talking about how do you spot when a smile isn't genuine, when somebody is actually trying to love bomb you versus actual affinity. Because we had this whole conversation about, why does love bombing work so much when recruiting for a cult? Do we just not love on each other enough in general? Are we just not friendly enough to each other as humans that when somebody comes along and love bombs us, we're like, and taking it all in and loving it? I mean, who wouldn't, right? But it really got me thinking, like, we really got to be friendlier to each other. I mean, if you're at the grocery store, wherever you are, because I feel like if there was a higher level of that, then love bombing wouldn't be so effective, because people wouldn't be, there wouldn't be such a need there. I mean, I don't really know what the solution is overall. It just really got me thinking about that. Beth Dayton, you were up late. You were up late too. Yeah. Julia, great interview, Natalie. Thank you. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. I even do a demo, so you guys know what it looks like.
Seeking to control somebody. There are other simple things. When people smile, when it's not genuine, it doesn't happen here. It only happens here.
The laugh line. How
When
can you
people-
even smile? Your smile lines, your laugh lines. Some of you may not have them, but as a woman of a certain age in her 50s, yes, I have them. You can see them right there. I do have those. So he's saying those don't show up. Smile without your eyes moving. Wait.
Well, they move a bit, but you'll see.
I guess if I smiled like that, it would not be genuine. If I don't move my eyes, it looks like this.
That's great. I'd be keen to control somebody. There are other.
So if you see a smile like that, run. That person might be trying to love bomb you. Oh, Bad Thetan, you like the Cartman? Okay, I'm going to pull it up because we're going to vote right now. I did a short and asked this question, but I want to know in the chat, who did the better South Park impersonation, me or John Atack? Hold on, let's get this pulled up here. Let's just settle this right now. So I'm going to play this short where we each did an impersonation from South Park, because we were talking about South Park doing their episode about Scientology, of course, which was so fabulous and accurate. So I'm going to play this. Put a 1 in the chat if Natalie does a better South Park information, and put a 2 in the chat if John Atack does. And yeah, Cartman, Chow Yun Smut from South Park. If you ever need a Cartman, I've got you. I do a mean Cartman. Oh, Chow Yun Smut. Now we're going to have to see that. You got to do a video of it. Okay, so again, no wrong answer, and don't vote for me just because you love me more. Check it out.
Meant to be packed with little beings that had been shoved in there 75 million years ago. This is all true. Scientologists actually believe this, as South Park says.
So that was John's. Scientologists actually believe this.
And she couldn't find any of these things.
Your American voice. I love that. Your South Park accent. I know I'm totally interrupting, but I can kind of do a Cartman. Let me see if I can do it. Wait, what was it you said? Scientology. What's the line? Scientology.
Scientologists actually believe this.
Scientologists actually believe this.
Oh, that's very good. She was.
So let's see. If you're on the replay, I want to hear from you. 1 in the chat if I got the impersonation better, or 2 if John did, because we're now arguing about it. You want to know the real internet drama? It's Natalie and John Atack going at it over who can smile, not smile the best, and do the best South Park impersonations. Well, I got to tell John, so far I feel like I'm winning. Even Brian's like, LOL. I see a lot of 1s, and I got to tell you, I have worked on this for years. I was a fan of South Park years ago. They won me over with that Scientology episode, truly. And Tony's boys and I used to always talk in the voice. So I think I got kind of good at it. I think so. Thank you, Stace. There is no contest. Nat all the way. Defunk says, without a doubt, yours was the best. I appreciate it. Yeah, even Kelly Copter's like, no contest. Sorry, Kelly. That's a horrible English accent. You do it much better. That's right. I'm not fat. I'm big bone. I should do a whole, no, that would be so annoying if I did an entire video in that voice. Thank you, Anna Marie. I won. Thank you. I don't win a lot of things, so I'm all for it. I will take it. I will take it. Okay, so we were also talking about, let's see here. I got another clip I want to share from this interview. Hold on. Let's pull this up. Such an delightful conversation with John. I always realize things and feel like it takes me a step forward in my healing from this cult and understanding. We talked a lot. In fact, we really got into how you spot these things, not just in Scientology, but it could be like an online cult. It could be another group. Oh, Chow Yun Smut, you better leave me a voicemail with that voice. My phone's on do not disturb, so you can even do it now. Then I'll listen to it after. So let's take a look. Again, I'm going to link this down below along with all the clips and stuff we're talking about in the description of this video when I'm done today.
Felt effect. And this is that it's like you're having, the brain is going, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Tune up, tune up, tune up, get the sensitivity higher, and you start getting feedback. You start getting, and this process is called filling in by neurologists. It was,
and this I thought was fascinating because for me, it helped to explain how 5 people can watch the same video and have different takeaways, or 5 people can watch the same car crash and will have a different takeaway. This I found fascinating because I think a lot of the problems we run into with relationships in life sometimes, or relationships online, and when people get into arguments and just try to enforce their viewpoint on someone, is failing to see what happens here with this filling in phenomena that he explains that our brains do.
it's easy to demonstrate. If you get a white noise screen, on a TV where everything's kind of flickering about, and you put an inch, where's my hand gone? You put an inch up here somewhere on the screen, you put a little inch on the screen of another pattern, and you look at it, within a minute, you'll stop seeing the inch because your brain has regularized what it's looking at. We have a blind spot in front of each of our eyes because of the connection to the optic nerve. We can't see that we can't see it, but you can show people there is a blind spot.
Is that kind of like how we can't see our nose? I think it goes a little bit off the rails here because I'm not sure my nose example was what he was talking about, but he was very gracious about it. They say that we should be, like if you put your finger here, you can see your finger, but you can't see your nose. I mean, you could look like that maybe, but if you put your finger here, you can see it, but you can't. Our brains are actually conditioned to not see our nose.
Yeah, and you can take a pencil and move it, and you can show people that the blind spot in each of their eyes.
I thought it was so interesting because he goes on to talk about how our brains fill things in. And this can be the same with a situation, or we catch part of something and then our brain will fill in what we think happened, what we think was said. There are assumptions that are made. It's just something that our brains do. But I think once we are aware of it, or at least aware and open to the idea that, hey, we only saw one part here, there might be other aspects, different dimensions to it, ways to look at it that give a fuller picture. But we're all looking at things. We're all looking at issues, topics, people through our own lens of our experience. So we perceive the world around us as we are, not necessarily as it is, which can lead to some huge disagreements of people who saw the same video, right? Who experienced people differently, relationships differently, movies differently, all of the things. It's just so fascinating to me. It really is. Carla's loving wife says he is so considerate. I still think we need a book club to review his book together. John's so balanced and informative. Love it. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. All right, Bad Thayton. One more. We'll do one more. Let me see. You killed Kitty. You. Sorry. You killed Kitty. You bastard. That's a hard one. I definitely could not do a video like that the whole time. It hurts my throat. Oh, Selena. Yeah, it's like when words are printed backwards, our minds can still read and understand the message. But the interesting point to me, too, is, are we really? And is it necessary to be upset or get angry with when somebody else just has a different point of view because how they're looking at it, where they come from? I didn't walk in their shoes. I don't have their whole background, their life experience, any potential trauma there. And in this video, John Atack goes on to talk about that, how our trauma influences how we perceive the world. And I feel on some level, we all know that to a degree, but really think about it. Our trauma, where we come from, influences how we perceive the world. So I can perceive something or experience it completely different from someone else because of where they came from, their background, their trauma. But does it mean that one of us is wrong? No, that's not what it's about. I think that's the missing piece. If we just acknowledge and recognize that, hey, we see things as we are, where we come from, you're going to see something differently. And if you do, okay, I see how you see it. I might ask you questions to try to understand where you're coming from. But if we can communicate about those differences to try and gain some understanding, we get a lot further than if we were to just say, oh, no, you're full of it. You're lying, whatever. Sometimes people are just full of it and lying, but a lot of times it's just they saw the same thing you did, but they perceived it differently because they come from a different place. They might have some trauma, things that affect how we perceive the world around us. I just find this so fascinating. I could like read, watch, talk about that stuff all day long. Julia, great point. I agree. Trauma can shape our thoughts and feelings. It does. So sometimes we can, and that's the kind of the thing you got to watch out for on YouTube. Like I did the video I dropped yesterday on my premiere is your favorite creator a cult leader? We got to be able to evaluate information for ourselves and not personalize it, make it about us, or take that on. It's like when, I've gotten so into some shows that I've watched that I'm in the shower, like thinking about that character. Like, I can't believe they did that. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is not even real. And even if it was, it's got nothing to do with me. The whole parasocial relationship thing. I just find it so interesting. And how many of you, go ahead, admit it. How many of you, did you get in front of a mirror now and try and see? Because again, I can see my finger. I can't see my nose as I'm looking. It's crazy. It's blind spots. We all have blind spots. Marcy says, no, it's so true, Natalie. You know what you know from where you come from and your experiences. So I think we could show a bit more grace and understanding to each other anywhere. People you meet at the grocery store, if they see something differently, because we just come from a different place. It's okay for people to think differently and not see things as we see them. Seal Bill, but I'm allergic to grass. Is that because I said to go out and touch grass? Okay, let's pop over to Austin. Hitzel was out there doing some live streaming on her way to a protest that was happening.
Very, very slow at closing the curtains today. We're about to head to the Capitol. Just wanted to make sure this part was done first.
Look at that blind tack. They were slow to the draw on the blind tack, but they did end up getting it done. And she's just like, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. Thanks for tuning in to this round of Let's Watch Scientology. Close the blinds and be as culty as possible and hide. I miss a good blind closing. We see them once in a while. Bad Thayton, thank you for being a member for, where's my Aloha button? For 11 months. Aloha. No grass currently. It's buried under snow at the moment. I know. Me too. Me too. Although I did just go to Hawaii, and let me tell you, I put my feet in a lot of grass. Every chance I got, I took my shoes off. I'm like, I got to stock up on this grounding because I'm going to go home. And it's like minus 17 right now. Air temperature. That's not even the wind chill. Irina, it is here too. Grass is a slang term for marijuana in parts of Russia. All right, where am I? Oh, okay. So I want to show you this video. It's from Cuts E, who is outside the Hollywood Testing Center and caught a Sea Org member who was out there cleaning the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There was probably some graffiti or something on one of the stars, but I wanted to share this because I feel for this guy. We've seen him out there before doing, cleaning and building care and stuff like this. And I can't help but wonder, does your family know where you are? Has your family seen you? So I wanted to play it mostly for that. He's out there cleaning it, and Cutsy's like, oh, what you doing? And he immediately grabs his stuff and goes inside, as they do. But we've seen him out there before. Here, you can see him better at the beginning. But I've thought about this guy. Who are you? How long have you been in the Sea Org? Does your family know you're there? Do you want to leave? It's just heartbreaking to see that. A lot of Sea Org members, they work really hard because it's demanded of them. But a lot of them, it's because they think they're helping to save the planet and clear the planet and make the world a better place. Therefore, they give up personal time. They give up so many of the things that many of us take for granted. They can't just read a book in the middle of the day. No, they can't really read a book unless it's a Scientology book. And you can only read Battlefield Earth so many times before it makes you crazy. You know, Justin, I don't know whose star that was. Maybe someone can zoom in and take a look there. Yeah, Hunter Bay. Welcome all to North America and negative temperatures today. It is crazy. I'm really trying hard not to leave the house today. I'm not sure if I have to or not, though. Okay, now let's go take a look at Dan Walks LA. Dan Walks LA was outside the where was he outside? Applied Scholastics, Scientology's front group. And he was doing some chalk tag. And then they would come out and mess it up. And then he would go back and fix it. Watch this. Dan LA is always so fun.
There you go. It's all back. Looking much better. We fixed it, you guys.
Well, and she's pretty good at like doing stuff by herself. So she's like,
We fixed it.
the paramount. She's gonna.
There you go. It's all
He's got one of those. It's like you put the chalk in it. Have you seen those? Then you can just hold it. I thought that was so amazing. I was like, what a great idea. Then you don't have to hold the chalk. I should get that for one of my kids really dislikes chalk. I wonder if that would make a difference. But excellent chalk tech. He was out. We're going to look actually at a couple of clips because a lot of fun things was happening there while Dan was out there. And what I love about Dan Walks LA is he literally walks LA and he goes to different Scientology locations at that Applied Scholastics. He'll go like, where was he the other day? He was at the Blue buildings. He goes all over the place. He goes outside the testing center. He goes outside David Miscavige's apartment. Just kind of really does a full tour of all the Scientology locations. So it's neat to be able to watch that and be able to see, just these different locations. Ooh, hold on, y'all. Life After a Cult hotline. This is Natalie. How can I help you? Okay, maybe you're in a cult. Okay, tell me about it. How did they recruit you? A friend invited you. Okay, yeah, that could be. That's classic. And now you feel like you have to go. Like if you miss a meeting, you're letting everyone down. Yep, I hear you. Interesting. Do they have a charismatic leader? Wow. Okay. Someone standing in the front shouting, like inspirational phrases? Like what? You can do this. Don't listen to your weak, doubting mind. Wow. Yeah, that's a red flag. Well, tell me this. Do they control what you wear? Wait, so everyone wears the same tight, uncomfortable clothing. And if you show up wearing something different, you feel judged. That's textbook cult conformity. Here's the big question, though. Do they make you pay money to advance in status? Oh, there's a monthly fee. But if you pay more, you get exclusive benefits, access to higher levels. Yeah. Buddy, this is getting concerning. Let's talk about indoctrination. Do they chant, repeat phrases, yell any other affirmations? Do they do it together in unison? Oh, no. While dramatic music is playing. That's not just manipulation, that's programming. Okay, final question. If you tried to leave, do you think you'd be shunned? Like, would people guilt trip you, try to pull you back in? Oh, wow. So the second you mention quitting, someone gasps like, oh, like that. And says, but this is who we are now. Okay, I see what's happening. I think I know what's happening. And you get really sweaty. Okay. Based on what you told me, I get it. Flashing lights, the motivational yelling, the peer pressure, super culty vibes. But I promise you can walk away. No one is holding. No. No, you're not in a cult. You joined a really intense spin class. Yeah, no one's holding your soul hostage, just your glutes. Oh, you don't want to leave. You actually love it. Yeah, that's how they get you. Why are you calling then? Oh, because you wanted to know if it was a cult or not. Well, man, some of these not cults are more intense than the actual ones. I agree. All right. Have a cult-free day. Oh, just here doing the work, learning and loving. Oh, I get Laura's song stuck in my head a lot too. That's a good one though. Okay, back to Dan LA before we were all interrupted there. Okay, back to Dan LA. Let's see here. Let's look at another clip from when he was out there. People were stopping and taking video of it too. Watch this. You can see here. Well, let's see. These two people here like are just videoing the chalk tech there. I love it. Then the Scientology guy, they go inside and he just shakes his head. You see that? Just shakes his head. He's so disappointed in Dan Walks LA. How dare you, Dan Walks LA? How dare you do that in front of there? So then Dan Walks LA goes to the Hollywood Testing Center. I was telling you guys earlier, Dan Walks LA, his videos are interesting because he goes all over the place. But there are some serious characters that he runs into along the way. And he was over outside the Hollywood Testing Center. Let's take a look at what happened there.
Oh.
Just part of it, because a lot happened.
Dan Walks LA.
That's awesome. Are you here a lot?
I try to be. I've been protesting for about a year now, so
That's good.
just keeping them, keep their toes.
Young people, they know what's up. I would say these, or what do you think? They're probably Gen Z, not down with cults.
The fire, and I'm one of several. So
Yeah.
they have this property, they have the big blue property, they have even just
buildings everywhere.
yes, everywhere. It's a real estate scam. That's all, and they keep on buying up buildings. So that's what it is. Yeah.
Wait, what's it called? Deadlock?
They're closed because I'm out here protesting. Yeah. Yep. Now they try to
I love that they're looking up his channel like right then and there.
personality
Wait,
test
what's
or something.
your live stream called?
Dan Walks LA.
Oh, man.
And you guys will be on it. But yeah, it's a little bit, yeah. Have a great day, guys. Yeah, they don't like being called out.
Yeah, they do not like being called out. Check out Dan's video. Like I said, there was a lot that went on. If you guys remember Penny was out there sometimes when Scientology Audit Streets LA was out there. She showed up. Yeah, Dan is a force. And Mike, I got your email. I'm just playing catch up. But thank you for the reminder. I really appreciate those because I need them. I really do. We need to get that scheduled. So I will go search that up. So I need to remember that. Where's my notes? Okay, just remember. Remember. Bad Thetan says stats. I still don't know what Scientology stats are, but I know about actual statistics. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about that. Scientology just uses statistics to control. It is how they determine your worth, your level of acceptance, at least in that moment, because Scientology is basically, what have you done for us lately? Oh, you worked for 3 days in a row without getting any sleep, but what have you done for us lately? Oh, you haven't seen your family in 10 years so that you could work to clear the planet. But what have you done for us lately? That is Scientology every day, all day. Kathy Scogans, I love that. Dimples Dan. Oh, he does have really cute dimples. Mike says he's got great music too. Yeah, he's doing a great job out there. Now let's go over to the UK where Scientology is attacking a whistleblower, Apostate Alex. I'm going to link this video down below so you can see the whole thing. I just wanted to give you guys a little snippet. He put together this video, which really gives you a visual of how hard Scientology is going at him. 3 months of Scientology's attack tweets shown for 2 seconds each. And it is obviously we're not going to watch the whole video because it's long, but that's the point. That's the whole point. Check this out.
Since I started speaking out as an ex-Scientologist, I've been the subject of a sustained and targeted campaign of harassment orchestrated by Scientology's Office of Special Affairs. Over the last few months, this harassment has increased, and I've now recorded over 5,000 tweets from various Scientology-owned and operated accounts attacking me in various ways.
I'm going to move forward just so you guys can see some of this. These are all tweets from Scientology to go at him because what is he doing? Exposing Scientology. And it just goes on and on and on and on. It is ridiculous, but it shows you. I'm going to link it down below. Please go watch the whole thing because it shows you how insane it is, how hard Scientology will try to go at different critics and people exposing Scientology. Office of Special Affairs. Here's the thing. If we could just come in for a minute. Office of Special Affairs. You know, when you do the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect a different result, it is the literal definition of insanity. Maybe not literally, but it is the definition of insanity. And this doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is the digital age of the internet too. So you know what? People are going to show what you're doing. And especially when it's put in context all together like that, you look really unhinged. What does it look like? What is it giving? What is it giving? It's giving cult. That's what it's giving. It's giving cult. Your culty is all get out. Your cult is showing it doesn't work. What's going to happen is more people than follow Scientology or call themselves Scientologists are going to see this and go, "Ooh, that's culty as all get out." Even some Scientologists might see it and go, "Huh, who is this guy? Who's Apostate Alex? Why is Scientology saying these things?" Curiosity. People get curious. They get curious about it. So people see these things that you do about people like Apostate Alex and others, and they go, "Oh, even Scientologists, ask me how I know." Come on, Office of Special Affairs, ask me how I know. Because we hear from Scientologists. We hear from under the radar Scientologists, from Scientologists who are questioning. And when you do stuff like this as a church, and I say that in quotes, it turns them off. They look at it and go, "What's happening here?" And then they get curious and they go, "Who's Apostate Alex? Let me look him up." And you know what they see? More truth about Scientology. Former members who have come forward and bravely shared their stories about what happened in Scientology to raise awareness so people don't fall for it. And in the process, they're educating about cults in general because it's so prevalent, right? I feel like you can't throw a rock without hitting a cult these days. And now online in this digital age, they're recruiting online. Groups are being created online. So there's never been a better time to learn about cult tactics than there is now. And I guess Scientology, Office of Special Affairs, in a way, you're kind of doing that. So I don't know, maybe we should be thanking you. For letting your cult show. Yes. You know who else is letting their cult show? Have you guys been following this Zizian thing? We talked about it the other day. The police arrested alleged leader of an anarchist vegan cult tied to series of crimes, including a Border Patrol agent murder. And the Border Patrol agent, I think that was in Vermont. He's originally from Minnesota. And here's the deal. Right? They got him in custody right now. So the apparent leader of a cult-like group known as the Zizians has been arrested in Maryland along with another member of the group, Maryland State Police said Monday. Oh, so they caught him in Maryland. They have this sort of anarchist vegan critique of society, Taylor told the outlet, saying that they believed you might do some violence that your society disapproves of, but your society does violence anywhere. I don't know. For me, this falls under two wrongs, don't make a right kind of a thing. And it's culty. No, you are not going to convince anybody that murdering people in the name of what? Anything really in that way is going to be okay. It is culty. A very disturbing aspect of this cult, the people who've joined, we covered a story the other day about it. These are smart people. Educated people. And it goes to show that doesn't always play a role in whether or not somebody gets involved in a cult. That has nothing to do with intelligence, maybe emotional intelligence to a degree. But dang, this is like, it's really bad. I think the body count is up to like 6 or 8, but it's too much. It's too much. It is too much. It's disturbing, but I'm glad they caught this person, because I was like, I mean, I got to tell you, the idea of anybody running around doing stuff like that is scary, and that other people might actually join in. Now, check out Marilyn at Coffee Cult and Crafts. I'm going to link this down below. She did a whole timeline about this story that I thought was fantastic. If you are not familiar with this story, it really deserves its own video and timeline. Go ahead and check this out. I'm going to link it down below. It's over on Coffee Cult and Crafts, and Marilyn did this whole timeline and makes it really understandable so you can kind of catch up on what's happening there. Mike Sandoval, how'd they know it was a vegan cult? They wouldn't shut up. It's a stereotype that vegans nonstop talking about being vegans, but not everyone. Did you guys know Scientology Audit Streets LA is a vegan? I mean, he has talked about it a little bit, but not to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, all right, enough already. Bob, I agree. Giving vegans a bad name. Truly. There's always somebody out there trying to ruin it for the rest of us. I'm not a vegan. I would struggle with giving up meat. I'd have to give up Spam, and we all know that is not happening. I love my Spam. All right, where we at? Oh, hey, does it matter to you? Good to see you. Stay says, see, if you don't eat cheese, you get stabby. Not why, but that is hilarious. Chow Yun Smut. Yeah, I need one of those mustaches I can just put in front there. Okay, we got to look at this thing quick here in the Midwest. Is there a cult in North Dakota? The Vault explores the possibility in a new 3-part series. So I do believe this is like a podcast. I want to link it. I'm going to link it down below because I want to listen to it. And I thought maybe you guys do too. It's the Vault podcast series. Is there a cult in North Dakota? Goes behind the scenes with forum reporters who investigated the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church in North Dakota. Forum Communications reporting on alleged cult in northern North Dakota is at the forefront of the new 3-part podcast series, The Vault Podcast. The podcast highlights the 5-part print series written by C.S. Hagan and the 2-part documentary produced by Drew Trafton, which investigated the hidden movement of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, which has a strong foundation in North Dakota. I don't know if that's Neche, N-E-C-H, N-E-C-H-E. I don't know how you say that. But in North Dakota, I'm like, oh my goodness. One of these days, I don't know where I'd go though. It'd be like, I think it'd be kind of fun to do a road trip and just see how many cults we can find in America. It would have to be done over time because I think there's like 10,000 or something, and not all of them have a location, but so many of them are culting online, which is why I'm doing a lot more content about that as well as Scientology. And that is my the video that I did last night. So check it out if you guys didn't catch it. You can watch it on the replay. Is your favorite creator a cult leader? Go ahead and check it out. In fact, as soon as we're done here, you should head over and check out that video. That would be awesome. That's right, Mike Sandoval, American culting. Really is. There is a guy called the Cult Hunter. Kelly Copter interviewed him. We talked about that yesterday. Oh, Northern Girl says Nishi. It's called Nishi, North Dakota. No way, Stace. Plymouth Brethren are gaining ground here in the UK. Oh, dun, dun, dun. Oh my God, I miss a lot of starred comments. Dusty, good morning to you. RFS Tables, have you visited the org you were a part of since you left? Okay, so Hawaii org, I did. I've protested in Hawaii 2 times now. I visited there. I went to Clearwater. I protested there at Flag where I did services. I'll tell you where I've not been. Los Angeles, the Blue Buildings. I've not been back since I left. That's where I was in the Sea Org. That is the last place I did a service in Scientology. So really, for me to go back to where it last happened, it would be there. I've not done it yet. I want to. I'm trying to figure it out. I know my sister Lana wants to go too, but coordinating that is kind of hard, but I am working on it. I want to go. I think it would be very cathartic in a lot of ways to go back to the Blue Building. So I'm working it out. Office of Special Affairs. I'll let you know. I'll give you a good heads up so you can roll out the red carpet and welcome me back. Isn't that the motto of the Sea Organization? We come back. That's right. Especially people born and raised in Scientology. We come back to shut you down. Great question. RF's tables. Plus, do you know anyone who is with you that's left? Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. A ton of people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Irina points out that Joseph Smith Jr., Mormon founder, was a Capricorn. All right. Let's see. Oh, what were their zodiac signs, Marcy, for LRH and David Miscavige? I don't know. Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Well, L. Ron Hubbard was born March 13th. That we know. David Miscavige, I forget when his birthday is, but I bet someone in the chat knows. Oh, Stace says, apparently the guy who ran Nexium is a Virgo. Nope, I don't want to start that kind of cult. He's given Virgos a bad name. Eric S. says, we don't hear often about Greta as a cult of Scientology celebrity. She does a pretty good job of keeping it on the down low. Well, and there's been some rumors that she's dipping a toe into Christianity. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, is it Susie's streamiversary? Fantastic. Susie Oberholz. And Susie, I often say, I feel like I say your name wrong. Oberholz. Oberholz? Anyways, y'all know Susie. It is her streaming anniversary. Congratulations. Is that today? That's awesome. That's fantastic. All right, I'm catching up on some of these. Oh, yeah, Don Gloves. We did the niacin one. We got Bad Thetans. Scooter Mom says, Miss Kim's just started reading Let's Sell Them a Piece of Blue Sky on Sunday afternoons. Oh, fabulous. So check out Miss Kim. You might have to put in Miss Kim Scientology or something like that. Find her on YouTube. She's doing book club with Let's Sell Them a Piece of Blue Sky, John Atak's book. That is fantastic. Love that. Very cool. I have to go check that out myself. Kelly Copter says the Scientologist should get to see these stats on a Thursday at 2. Health is wealth. Get the heck out of there. That is so true, Kelly. That is so true. Hunter Bay, can you still watch Battlefield Earth? I mean, I could, but I don't want to. I definitely don't want to. Oh, okay. Well, you guys, thanks for that. Thank you for those comments. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and most of all, everybody, get out and have an amazing cult-free day.